My CV without any job experience was 6 pages long.
What?
Yes, because I've been taught to write everything that I've ever done in my life. So I used that resume for applying for a job. So I remember there is this amazing lady, shout out to 𝐸𝐴𝐻. So I approached her because she's a renowned award-winning human resource professional.
Okay.
Yeah, so I reached out to her to help me in job search. Then she had connected me with someone else who was looking for someone who had recently finished school or recently graduated. So what she told me was she asked me to share with her my resume, which I did. And for her, she forwarded directly the resume.
Oh, okay.
So what happened to that HR who was looking for an intern? They were like, I can't hire someone who don't know how to write their resumes.
Hello and hello to you. Welcome to Up Close with Whitney. In case you're new here, my name is Whitney Nyambura, and today's guest is a HR professional and a career coach. She's doing an incredible job in the digital space, and today we're gonna learn a lot from her. Welcome, 𝐸𝐻 Makau.
Thank you so much, Whitney.
Welcome. So thank you for saying yes to me. This is the first statement that I'd say, especially because you were one person that I called and you're like, wow, I'll be excited to attend. I'll be forever be grateful for that. So on to the first question. Introduce yourself.
All right. Thank you so much, Whitney, for inviting me.
Okay.
So my name is 𝐸𝐻 Makau. For those who don't know me, I am a human resource professional and a career coach.
Okay.
So I help organizations to unleash the full potential of their human resources.
Okay.
Because we understand human resources are the life and blood of an organization.
Sure.
An organization can never run without employees whom we
Yeah.
call human resources.
Yeah.
So I offer such services such as recruitment, offering organization with top talents, ensure the employees are engaged through offering employee engagement surveys, performance management. I also do trainings, especially I'm specializing on AI in career development.
Wow.
Because being a career coach is my mandate to ensure that every job candidate, whether they are an employee or out of an employment, they are advancing in their careers.
In their career.
And artificial intelligence has been a topic of discussion of late. So I've been thinking, how can we integrate artificial intelligence in our career development? So that's why I do training and development for organizations, training their employees on how they can be using artificial intelligence to ensure that the employees are well equipped. Remember, they say artificial intelligence is not going to replace us.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, it's only going to replace those who can't use the artificial intelligence. So I'm working with AI professionals who are really good at it as we train employees.
Wow.
Again, as a career coach, it's my duty to ensure that as a job candidate, you are really fit for that the next role you've been hiring for. So you don't have to use your hot resume, which you've been using 10 years ago. You know, you don't have to have a resume which has got still your religion, your date of birth. No, gone are those days.
Yeah,
so
gone are those days.
yeah, so I offer services as a career coach. I offer services such as resume writing, cover letter writing. I do LinkedIn optimization.
Oh, nice.
Because I usually tell people that resume is the traditional CV.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's only limited to 2 pages. But now with LinkedIn, you have all the space. They've given you all the space, all right? So you can tell us whatever you want us to know about you. And gone are the days when people used to rely on long listing and short listing alone, all right? We are also doing headhunting. So as a job candidate, it's up to you to ensure that people, or rather the recruiters, can find you through LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So that's where I come in. I
Mhm.
help you optimize your SEO
Okay.
so that when a recruiter is looking for someone who can replace a role which can really fit you, you are high there.
Yeah,
They can see you.
Wow.
So I offer a LinkedIn optimization.
Mhm.
And again,
Mhm.
I tell people
Mhm.
LinkedIn optimization is not enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because you've optimized your LinkedIn. So what next?
What next?
Then other thing the other service I offer people with is what I call personal branding, which in LinkedIn includes LinkedIn management, right?
Yeah, sure.
So I help you in making content which aligns with your goals.
Yeah.
I make you to become a thought leader. Yeah, I'm a good example. I've been in LinkedIn for 1.5 years.
Okay.
And I've gained 38,000 followers.
Wow.
So if I'm doing management, I just don't talk.
Okay.
I walk the talk.
Walk the talk.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
again,
Mhm.
sorry for that.
Okay.
I'm the founder, and I'm a founder of an organization called Magazine Career Access, where I work at.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
We will talk about that.
Yes.
I love the fact that you have been on LinkedIn for 1.5 years and you already have 37,000.
Yeah.
Wow, it's amazing. It's amazing. Congratulations for
Thank you
that.
so much. Thank you.
Congratulations for that. Now we want to talk about the HR part. So
Yeah.
how did you start and realize that I need to be a HR and a career coach?
Right. My story is very different.
Okay.
My story is very different. Like many people who say they had passion
Yeah.
when they were growing up.
Okay.
For me, I never knew there was something called HR.
Okay.
Okay. So my story is funny. I only
Mhm.
knew few careers.
Mhm.
One was education.
Mhm.
The other one was accountant.
Mhm.
The other one was civil engineering
Mhm.
and mechanical civil engineering
Mhm.
and electrical engineering.
Okay.
Then medicine. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's important at this point to say I'm very passionate about high school mentorship.
Okay.
When I remember the criteria I used to choose my career back then.
Okay.
So here's the funny thing. When I was growing up, I wanted to be a doctor.
Okay.
Why? Because of the following reasons. Because
Yeah.
of this criteria which I used to choose the career.
Okay.
I've told you I only knew few careers. The first one was accounting. Okay. And in my mind, I knew accounting is all about dealing with money.
Of
And
course.
you know, even the Bible tells us the love of money is the beginning of the evil. So I couldn't imagine dealing with money. You're there, you're broke, and you're dealing with money. So I said, temptation will be so real.
Okay.
I could go with that money, then end up in jail. So that's how I eliminated accounting.
Okay.
Using my high school brain back then.
Yeah.
The other thing was teaching. Okay, teaching. Never liked it because of how fellow students used to disrespect some teachers.
Okay.
So I was like, I can just argue with children. So that's how I eliminated education or rather teaching.
Okay.
The other thing was civil engineering. Lucky enough, I knew civil engineering is all about building. And you know, I'm a baby girl. I'm a girl.
Soft girl.
Yeah. So in Kenya we are saying soft life
soft girl era.
for soft ladies. So I couldn't do civil engineering.
Okay.
So I said I can do civil engineering. The other thing was all about electrical engineering. Now, as a high school kid, I knew electrical engineering is all about climbing those posts and checking what's wrong. I was like, hey, a lady like me climbing posts, no, can never be me. So what remains? I remain with medicine.
Yeah.
Why? Because my village people are telling me, Masi, you should be working hard so that you become a doctor. You know? Yeah, and that's how I ended up saying I want to be a doctor. So when I was in high school, I worked hard towards that goal.
Okay.
Of doing medicine. Okay. Now the surprising thing is when I did my KCSE, I did well. But I don't know whether I should say it was unfortunately or fortunately, I failed in biology.
Okay.
Yeah, I failed in biology. And in life, it's always very important for you to have goals.
Yeah, sure.
For me, when I was in high school, I already had a goal. My goal was, once I'm done with high school, I should have a degree, no matter which degree.
Yeah.
So even if I failed in biology, I had already convinced myself there is no turning back. And that's actually is one of my life motto.
Yeah.
No turning back.
No turning back, yeah.
Yeah. So I'd already made up my mind that I should end up with a degree, no matter which degree. So it's from that moment that I started consulting with people. Asking them which course should I do.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had an amazing uncle. I think I should shout out to him. He's Nicholas Mosioka. Thank you so much for your advice. So he advised me on various courses which I should choose. One of them was, I think, economics. The other one was to do with environment. The third one I can't remember. Okay. So when we were selecting our university through COOPS, I remember I chose the 3 courses which my uncle had proposed for me. And then the last one, just for the sake of filling up everything, I saw there is something called human resource management. So I said, as long as I can do it, let me just finish it up. So I applied for human resource management at 𝐶𝐿𝐴. Okay. Then I don't know whether it was 2 or 3 months later. They say Mungu ni nani. I received message from COOPS. They selected me to pursue human resource management at 𝐶𝐿𝐴. Oh, nice. So yeah, so I remember I wanted to change the career because I never knew what human resource management was. So it's from that point that I started asking people what human resource management was really. So one of my high school teachers told me that human resource management is all about dealing with people. Okay? So that's what she told me. Dealing with people, you'll be their manager. Yeah. So I was like, okay, see, that sounds good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, if when I become employed, I'll become automatically manager, then that one sounds good. Yeah. And that's how I ended up doing human resource management. But I have to admit that when I joined campus and started learning more about it, I came to love it later on. Oh, wow. Yeah. So that's my interesting story about how I became a human resource professional.
Hey, what a story. Yeah. Okay. Now, what about a career coach? Now you are a career coach, you teach people about human resource. You know, they say before you become a career coach, you need to have experience. Yeah, experience and have a vast knowledge on your profession. So tell us how you came to become a career coach.
So the first thing, being a career coach branched from my own experience. Okay. So I graduated last year in June. I finished school back in January 2023. Okay. So that's, once you're done with school, you start looking for a job immediately. Yeah, of course. So from that point, I started looking for a job. Okay. I remember when I was in 𝐶𝐿𝐴, I was in Christian Union. Yeah. There was a program called VUCAFIT. Okay. And there was one speaker who had come as our speaker. He was working for one big bank here in Kenya. Okay. So I called him. I wanted him to connect with me with a job. So he told me to share with him my resume. Then I asked him, how should I write my resume? You know what he told me? Write everything that you've ever done. Wow. So you can imagine my CV without any job experience was 6 pages long. What? Yes, because I've been taught to write everything that I've ever done in my life. So I used that resume for applying for a job. So I remember there is this amazing lady, shout out to Jen Moticia. So I approached her because she's a renowned award-winning human resource professional. Okay. Yeah, so I reached out to her to help me in job search. Then she had connected me with someone else who was looking for someone who had recently finished school or recently graduated. So what she told me was she asked me to share with her my resume, which I did. And for her, she forwarded directly the resume. Okay. So what happened to that teacher who was looking for an intern? They were like, I can't hire someone who don't know how to write their resumes. And you know, you're fresh from school.
Yeah.
So Jen was frank enough to tell me the reason. And it's from that point that curiosity rose.
Okay.
So she was my teacher about how to write a resume. I asked her, okay, what's wrong with my resume? I thought I was taught to write everything that I've ever done, and I've written it off. So I don't know, why are they saying I don't know how to write a resume? And I remember back when we were in high school, we were also taught how to write a resume. So I went and checked out my notes from high school. How are we supposed to write a resume? I've written exactly whatever we were taught by our teacher. So she taught me some basics of resume writing. So from that point, I went and taught myself how to write a resume. Now she absorbed me and I started working with her. So one of the major roles she plays is recruitment, and we do manual recruitment. So with manual recruitment, we usually receive resumes which are very badly done. So how I started it off, I started it off as a way of helping people, because you could see the way their resumes were so much pathetic. So as time went by, people started becoming so many, and it was demanding. So that's how I ended up monetizing that as a skill. Yeah. So that's how I started my career as a career coach, because I had experience. I have the first-hand experience of how rejection feels, just because you don't know how to write a resume. Now imagine that was a human being saying no to me because I didn't know how to write a resume. And nowadays we have ATS, which helps in CV screening. So you can imagine, for a human being who had emotions, they can reject me. What about a machine? Yeah, so that's how it started off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, I love your journey. Your journey, you're explaining it in a chronological order, and I love that.
Yeah.
So now you are a founder, right?
Yes.
So tell us about it.
So what happened is, again, I've been working with mentors. So when I started getting a lot of jobs, especially about resume writing, LinkedIn optimization. I also interview people for I coach people for interviews. So a lot of jobs started coming in. All right. And along the way, some people could ask me, which organization are you working with? You know. So just for the sake of authenticity purposes, I had to now start that organization, whereby I started it off, registered it, and also built a website. Whereby if I tell you I work at 𝐶𝐻 Career Access, you can just go check my website out to increase my authenticity. So basically it was maybe challenges from both mentors and also my peers who are my inner circle. Yeah, and also from my clients also, for the sake of being authentic. Yeah, so that's how I started off 𝐶𝐻 Career Access. And again, also I have plans for future.
Yeah. So what are your plans for the future? You're gonna tell us when you come back here?
Of course, everybody's dream is to have the organization grow. Yeah, and like many organizations whereby the organizations deals with the owner, I want mine to be very different. So that's what I'm strategizing right now. 𝐶𝐻 is only 1 year old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, like this is amazing. The fact that you have a company 1 year after finishing school, it's just amazing. Congratulations for
Thank
that.
you so much.
Now let's talk about LinkedIn now. So why did you join LinkedIn?
Wow, that's another amazing story. So when I was in campus, a friend of mine told me about LinkedIn. So I don't know, they told me LinkedIn is a good professional platform. So what did I do the next thing? Go to Play Store, search for LinkedIn, download. That's how I did it. I just downloaded it. I left it there. That was back when I was in campus. Okay. So when I finished school, remember I was working with Jen. So I could hear people talking about LinkedIn optimization. I want my LinkedIn to be worked on. And by this, she has a lot of followers on LinkedIn. She has 106,000 followers.
Who is
So
that? I
she's
should
Jen
bring her.
Motesia.
I should bring her.
Yeah, you should look for her.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's when I knew there was something like LinkedIn optimization. And she used to challenge me, telling me, Mercy, you should be creating content on LinkedIn. You should be building your own personal brand. How do you want people to know you? But fear, or rather imposter syndrome, was holding me back. Because I used to think, LinkedIn is for people who have many followers, like those ones, or people with many years of experience. Remember, back then, I just come from school. I had not even graduated,
Sure.
So I was asking myself, now, what will I
am
be telling people? Tambia nini watu?
Okay.
Yeah, so I was wondering, what will I really be telling people? So I would rather just be there and be a spectator, see what people are doing, just liking, and that's all. But she kept on challenging me. So I remember, you see, if something is not from within or intrinsic, even if some external forces are there, it might be difficult for you. So I remember early April last year. I was scrolling through Facebook. Then I came across a very touching post, and the title was "Just Begin."
Wow.
Just begin. So it was about a lady who was to join a campus, and they didn't have enough school fees. So the father took her to school, and then paid off the small amount of money he had, and then told the daughter, you don't have about the money, you just start and God will sort it out. So you should not fear, just begin. And that one became my motivation.
Wow.
So I copied it and pasted it on my LinkedIn account, and that was my first post. And it got a lot of likes. Yeah, for me, I think it was around 40 or 30.
Wow.
For me, they were many.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So that's how I began. Like, one thing I like about LinkedIn is about its positive energy. No one will be there to criticize you in a negative way. So it's from that moment that I got the momentum. I started now teaching people about resume writing, LinkedIn optimization, some insights here and there about HR. Yeah, so that's how I built up my LinkedIn. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, on those things that you do about LinkedIn optimization, CV revamping, and all that, what are some of the challenges that you have come across?
Right. So I'm so passionate about this. Before we go to challenges, I'm sure there is someone somewhere who will be watching this, or rather who is watching us, and they don't know how to write a resume. So we usually say life, the Bible tells us, God was telling the Israelites through Moses, in between you, before you, there is life and death. But I had you to, okay, it's up to you to choose whatever you need. But I had you to choose life. So just the same case with life and everything that we do. There is always the positive side and the negative side. Okay. So before now, I focus with the negative side of my job. I want to enlighten everybody who's watching us right now about resume writing and LinkedIn optimization. So a very common question I've received from people: what's the difference between a resume
and a CV?
I have to put it very clearly that personally, I do resumes. Why? Because resumes are more targeted to a specific job compared to a CV. Okay. So with CV is whereby you just write everything that you've ever done. Let's say, for example, when you finished your campus, you are teaching in your village school somewhere in Ushago. And then before you got your formal job, let's say you are in human resource management. But before you got a job as a human resource management manager or assistant or whichever, you were working as salesperson somewhere, or marketing person somewhere. Now, if you include all that information, which is relevant to human resource professional, that's what we call a a CV
CV.
because
Okay.
it contains everything that you've
You
ever
are
done.
done.
In short, I like calling it your job autobiography.
Okay.
But now with the resume, is very much targeted for a specific job. So let's say you're applying for human resource manager job, okay? And you've done sales, you've been a teacher, you've been accountant somewhere. Now you're not going to concentrate more on that. Right? You're just going to use keywords related to human resource management. Okay? So the question comes in, how am I supposed to write a resume? Okay? So there are different sections of a resume. The first one is personal details. And when I say personal details, I'm not telling you to go and write the title personal details. No. And again, on the same note, you shouldn't be having the term curriculum vitae on your resume. I think it's the header.
Okay.
Why? Because different machines use different methods to scan your resume. So some of them only scan the first word, okay, or rather the first letter. Is it letters or word? Yeah, the first words. So if you've written curriculum vitae, the machine will read your CV as curriculum vitae. Okay, so I don't know who has got time to go checking back who is this curriculum vitae.
Okay.
So it's very important when it comes to personal details, have your name. And it's the name as appears on the national ID. Yeah, tunajua your nickname ni 𝐸𝐴𝐻. Yeah. But we don't need to show that in your resume. Okay? Use your name as it appears in the ID.
In the ID, okay.
Your national ID. The other thing is your email address.
Okay.
Have an email address. Email addresses is something I'm also so much passionate about. Okay. So I'm sure a lot of our viewers here have email addresses which are very funny.
Their names.
TikToker 001. 𝐸𝐴𝐻 001. You know. So how should a more professional email look like? First thing, and it's my own point of view though, your email should be having your true names. For example, for me, I'm Mercy Makau. So my email is mercy.makau. Okay? But then here comes the issue. Maybe mercy.makau is already taken.
Well, what do you do? Like,
yeah, good question. What do you do? I am a HR. So there will be no offense if you had the term HR.
Oh, okay.
So my email address is mercy.makau.hr@gmail.com. Okay. It's better to have such an email compared to having Mercy, or rather Makau Mercy 001. Oh. So the thing is, numbers make your resume not look so much professional. Okay. A lot of people have numbers in their email, but they don't know this.
Yeah, like for me, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's so much advisable to have an email address which doesn't have numbers. Okay. Again, why I usually encourage people to use dots is because it will be easier for me to discern. So imagine this case. Imagine someone is called Michael Lelwin. All right. You see, with Michael there is L. Yeah. And I'm Michael Lelwin. Oh, so
you should join.
L is 3 L's. Yeah. So you see, someone can be confused. So what's their name? Yeah. So the reason why I usually advise people to use dot is because if I use a dot, they will be able to see, oh, so this is Mercy Makau. So that's why it's very important for you to have an email address which is professional in your CV. Okay. The other thing you need to check is a phone number. And when I talk about phone number, it has to be the working phone number. Okay. All right. Because we understand a lot of people here have got more than one
SIM cards, like for more numbers.
Yeah. So instead of you having two of them is because, you know, at the end of the day, we are human beings.
Sure.
So if you give me 2 phone numbers, I may spend a lot of time trying to debate which one do I call, which one don't I call. But if you just give me one phone number, I'll be sure if I call Whitney through this number, then I'll get her.
Yeah.
Okay. So use one phone number, which if they call you, they can access you through it.
Okay.
And don't use a phone number from your organization, because imagine you're applying for a job and the phone number you use is that one of an organization.
Yeah.
And then that recruiter calls your organization. You know, the way you see, the way it can be so much can be very bad.
Yeah.
Also, the same case also applies to emails. You should use your personal emails when you're applying for jobs.
You're applying for a job, not an organization one.
Yeah, not an organizational one. Okay. Now, the other thing which is very important is what I call LinkedIn URL.
Okay.
Yeah, because most job adverts nowadays, for those of us who are applying jobs, when you're applying job, there is that section whereby they usually ask you to upload your LinkedIn URL. Okay. So, and when it comes to LinkedIn URL, it's very important for you to customize your LinkedIn URL. All right. Because remember, you are going to write that LinkedIn URL in your resume. It might look to be so much unprofessional. All right. So how do you do your LinkedIn customization? You just go to your URL and remove those extra numbers.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how you customize it. Maybe I'm also here for that job. Right? Yeah. So you have to show your LinkedIn URL in your resume. And again, for those who are into tech, you can also have your GitHub link.
Oh, GitHub.
There. Yeah. So that if I'm a technical recruiter and I want to see whatever you've been doing, I can see your project.
Yeah, sure.
There. Now, a very interesting topic, or rather commonly asked question, should I include my location, or rather my postal address where I live? So I usually tell people it's a yes and no answer. Why? Because it might favor you or not favor you.
Yeah.
Suppose I'm recruiting for an organization in Nairobi, and you've indicated in your resume that you're living in Mombasa.
Wow.
All right, and maybe we are hiring urgently. So I may think, Whitney is so much far away, so I'm not going to consider her because of the distance factors. Okay. But if you're within Nairobi and I'm recruiting within Nairobi, and you have indicated in your resume that you're living in Nairobi, you see that is also going to favor you.
Sure.
So that's why I said it all depends with so many factors. All right. Now, other things you should never include in your resume. Your religion. Yeah. We know umeokoka sana, but you shouldn't show that in your resume.
Okay.
The date of birth. We know you are Gen Z.
Yeah, okay.
But there is no need to show that. Okay. Yeah, you're married, you have a beautiful wife or beautiful husband, but you don't have to indicate that in your resume. But there are exemptions. Unless the recruiter is very specific. Some job adverts will say they are looking for someone who is under 30. Of which sometime, when it comes to the other aspect of HR, when it comes to recruitment, they say, according to the Employment Act, no one should be discriminated because of age, gender, their religion, or so. All right. So sometimes an organization telling someone to indicate that, sometimes it can be used against them. Right. Anyway, that was a point of when the recruiter is so much specific, whatever they need, you can indicate that. Yeah. But if they are not so clear about it, then you don't have to show it. The other section of the personal details is what we call summary.
Okay.
Okay. So in summary, I've seen.
Okay, wait. Before you go there, are you supposed to include hobbies?
Now, yeah, I'm going section by section. Okay. We'll come to hobbies. Okay. Now with summary, is where you show the years of experience you have, the skills you have, and how you're going to help that organization. Okay. Now, I've seen people with career objective on their resumes. Okay. But my advice is always have summary instead of career objective. Why so? I usually tell people when it comes to job market, just as the name suggests, it's a job market. And when we go to market, it's selling and buying of goods and services. Okay. So if I'm coming to buy, I already know whatever I'm coming to buy. All right.
Sure.
So if I went to market, I was looking for tomatoes. There is no way you're going to convince me to buy potatoes. Okay. So it's up to you as a job seeker to sell whatever that employer is looking for. And that's why I usually encourage people. Always tailor your resume for every job that you're going to apply for. Okay. So let's say that job, they are looking for someone with 5 years of experience. In your summary, show that you have over 5 years of experience. They are saying they are looking for someone who is good in recruitment and selection. Right? You are skilled in recruitment and selection. Someone who can do training and development. Say you're good in training and development. All right? Because here also, remember, we are bearing in mind, we are writing an ATS compliant resume. Now, ATS basically functions through comparing keywords used in the job advert and whether those keywords are also used in your resume. So that's why you should be using those keywords in your resume. All right.
So ATS, ATS is a software or it's?
Yeah, it's a software used for CV screening.
Wow.
Yes.
So like if I am brought up a job description, I should always use the keywords that are there for me to be assured I can get the job or will be considered if the company is using ATS, not when it's manual, right?
Yeah. So using keywords basically increases your chances of landing that job. Compared to just using a single CV every time. Yeah. So that's why it's very important to tailor every job, every resume for every job that you're going to apply for. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was telling you, the reason why I encourage people to not use career objective is because basically career objective only shows your interests.
Yeah.
If you read career objectives very well, some of them read looking for an organization whereby I'm going to grow. You know, at the end of the day, you want also organization where you are going to do what?
Grow.
To grow. But now if you show it in your resume, it only shows that you're thinking about yourself. You're not thinking about the organization. So it's always very good to show them that you are interested in what they are doing, and your personal interest, you just know them by heart.
Yeah.
Okay. So
uenda huko ukijua I am looking for money.
Niko hapa kutafuta pesa,
nothing else but kwa CV.
Lakini kwa CV sitawaambia I'm looking for money.
Wow. Okay.
So right after now you're done with section, the other part which is very important is what we call the work experience part. Okay. Now in work experience, what should you include there? You should include your job title. The other thing is the organization you've been working for and the period you're working with them. All right. Now when it comes to job titles, I usually encourage people to be very much careful with the job titles they are using. The same case also applies to recruiters. When you are advertising for a role, make sure you have thought so well about that job title. Why? For example, as a recruiter, you could be advertising for a manager role. But whatever you are calling a manager role, it should be an officer or assistant role. Now, if you call me as a manager, what I expect is to handle complex issues. And also my salary to be good.
Yes.
Yeah. So there is no way you're going to say you're looking for HR manager and you are paying 30,000. That should have been HR assistant job. Okay, so it's a good thing for all of us as recruiters and also job seekers to be very much considerate of our job titles. Make sure it's a job title that fits you so well.
Yeah, perfectly.
Yeah, perfectly. A good example is me. So the resume I've told you was very long. I'd say that I was a human resource manager at Achi. Human resource manager at Achi. Why? This was my logic. I did human resource management. So, management. If you, the verb of management, I mean the noun of management is manager. And I done human resource management. So that means I
can be a
become
manager.
human resource manager. So that is the logic I used. And then back then, I was in attachment. So attachment, when it comes to a noun, they should be attachee.
Oh, yeah.
So I became human resource manager attachee. So I remember, I remember, recruiters were so much, like there is one who I met and they were like, hey, you are a manager attachee? I was like, yeah. what's the problem with that? Yeah, I mean, I did human resource management and I was attachment. So I became human resource manager attachee. But later on, as years went by, when we were doing something called job evaluation, is when I discovered a job title is not just a job title. You have to be very careful with the job title that you're going to use.
Putting.
Yeah. So let it sink. Now, after showing the job title, the other thing you need to show is the date. Ever since you started working in that organization and when you stopped working in that organization. All right. And I usually encourage people to use what we call the month and the date. I mean the month and the year format. Okay. Yeah, you don't have
the month and the year format.
Yeah.
You don't need to include the date.
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me you started working here from 1st June 2024.
Yeah, sure.
If you say you are just working there from June 2024 to present, that will be fine.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to the other important factor is, instead, I usually encourage people, instead of having now job roles, I usually encourage them to have what I call achievements. Why achievements? Because achievements will set you apart from your fellow job seekers. For example, for you, you're a podcaster, right? Now, if you say you interviewed people, that's so generic. Okay?
Yeah.
That's so generic. You're saying you interviewed people about different topics. Imagine, different is very different. It's just as the name suggests.
Yeah.
But now, if you say interviewed 3 or 5 people per day on business matters, educating people, all right, that one will be much better compared to someone who just said they interviewed people on different matters. You see, for you are very specific with numbers. It's so clear you interviewed 5 people on what matters,
on business matters.
And what was the impact? You educated more of your audience. All right. So it should be very clear, not vague. So when it comes to work experience, instead of just having roles, have the achievements.
Okay.
Now, every organizations, everybody who comes in business, they are looking for profits.
Yeah.
And ways to reduce costs and time used in maybe producing or manufacturing. Yeah, exactly. So it's up to you to show them how you ensure that is achieved. Yeah, so it's up to you to ensure you're speaking in terms of numbers.
Yeah,
and don't exaggerate. So that when they call you for interview, you can defend yourself so well. All right.
Yeah,
we don't encourage white lies.
Yeah, sure.
In resumes. Yeah. Now,
when you lie, that's a red flag.
Yeah, it's a red flag
and
already.
No one can recruit you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because integrity is very valued. Yeah. Now, after work experience, the other thing you need to include is what I call skills.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
Skills. And when it comes to skills, it's important to be very clear. We have technical and soft skills.
Mm-hmm.
But again, let's be very, very frank.
Mm-hmm.
We have fresh graduates.
Yeah.
And we have people who have got many years of experience.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, for people with many years of experience,
Mm-hmm.
it will be very okay for them to indicate the technical skills they are well equipped in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I talk about technical skills,
Mm-hmm.
I talk about skills which are different in each organization.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in each field.
Yeah.
For example, someone who is a website developer,
Mm-hmm.
they may be required to be good at HTML, JavaScript, not React Node, and those things. Someone who is into finance, they are supposed to be good at financial forecasting, financial analysis,
CPA, like they do CPA and all that.
Yeah, those things. So if you compare those two technical skills, the one of a website developer and this one for
A
financial
financial
person, you see how different they are. So if you have many years of experience, make sure you are focusing more on technical skills. Again, remember using the formula I've told you, checking that job advert, what skills are they looking for? Because there is that part of requirements. They say they need someone who is good at these languages. If you are good at those languages, always write them in your resume, so that when that machine, that ATS is comparing, they can say, oh, they were looking someone who is good in HTML. They have written HTML, so that one becomes a plus for you. Yeah. So and for someone who is a fresh graduate, they don't have many years of experience.
Sure, they don't.
Yeah. So when it comes to skills, it's very important for them to show what you call soft skills.